Hi guys, cinematic recap here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American drama movie inspired by a true story, called The Vow. Paige and Leo are a recently married couple. They want to go home after watching a movie together. On their way home, at a stop sign, Paige suddenly unbuckles her seatbelt to lean over and kiss Leo. Shortly after, a truck rams their car from behind, causing Paige to crash through the windshield. As a result, both of them are rushed to the emergency room. Afterwards, the scene moves to 4 years before when Paige and Leo first met. At that moment, Leo accidentally sees Paige passing in front of him for the first time. Since he finds her attractive, he immediately chases her into the parking lot and confidently introduces himself. After a brief introduction, Leo invites Paige to dinner at Café Mnemonic. Leo is an art student who lives independently because his parents have died, while Paige runs away from her home due to family problems. One day, Leo proposes to Paige and the two of them ends up getting married. Their wedding ceremony is held secretly in the Art Institute of Chicago. Paige reads her wedding vows which she previously wrote on the Café Mnemonic menu card. However, all of them is eventually found by the guards, causing them to flee from the museum. Back in the present, months after the previous accident, Paige finally wakes up from her induced coma. When she regains consciousness, it turns out that she has amnesia and thinks that Leo is her doctor, having lost all memories of the past few years. Therefore, Leo is devastated that his wife doesn't remember him at all and has forgotten their memories together over the years. When he returns to the hospital the next day, Leo is surprised that his wife is not in the room. Then he is told by the nurse that Paige has been transferred by someone to the VIP room. When he gets to Paige's room, he finds her wealthy parents already there. Turns out this is the first time that Leo meets them, and they do not appreciate Leo either because he took their daughter and did not inform them that he and Paige has been married. Moreover, Paige does not understand why he would not have met her parents after having been married to her. She finds it even stranger that he did not know why either. Seeing Paige's behavior being so close to her parents, Leo realizes that her memories can only remember the times when she lived happily with her family. Not long after, the doctor says that Paige can go home tomorrow. At first, Paige's parents intend to take her home, but Leo says that it is better for Paige to go home with him so that her memories would recover faster. That night, the two of them are having dinner in the hospital cafeteria. There, Paige says she still cannot believe that he was her husband. She only can remember that she was engaged to a man named Jeremy. Leo must be very sad to hear this, but he still does not give up and would do anything to convince his wife to remember him again. The next morning, just as Paige is about to leave with her parents, Leo suddenly comes and shows the evidence of his marriage with Paige. He then plays a voice message in which she sounds very happy and romantic. As a result, Paige decides to go back home with Leo, hoping it will help her regain her lost memory. Upon arrival, Paige is welcomed home with a surprise party by her friends, but since she cannot remember any of them, she feels overwhelmed and extremely confused. Because of that, Leo is forced to tell her friends to go home straight away. The following day, Leo leaves a cell phone for Paige before leaving for work, just in case she needs something emergency. After he leaves, Paige decides to venture out to her regular cafe because she feels bored. However, she has no recollection of ever being there and eventually loses her way back. On the other hand, Leo, who has just come home, is shocked because Paige is not at home. He immediately looks for her everywhere, but he still cannot find her. After a while, Paige suddenly comes back home and apologizes to Leo for getting lost and forgetting to bring her cell phone. Inevitably, she borrows someone's cell phone and calls her mother because she does not know or remember Leo's number either. That evening, Leo and Paige are invited for dinner by her parents. Leo meets Paige's little sister, Gwen, for the first time. At the dinner and in the bar later, Leo feels that he does not fit in with her family and friends. Plus, Jeremy suddenly comes to the bar and tells Paige that he's hurt because Paige was married to Leo. Meanwhile, Leo persists in his attempts to help her regain her lost memory, but it seems Paige is more driven to learn why she broke her engagement to Jeremy. Even once, she comes to Jeremy for an explanation. Hearing her question, Jeremy is shocked because he just finds out that Paige has amnesia. He then takes the opportunity by saying that Paige has dumped him the day before their engagement. Hence, she apologizes to Jeremy and kisses him. One night, Leo sees Paige tidying up her memorable photos on the table. She says that she tries to remember the photos, but still to no avail. Leo then tries to cheer her up with their old habit of tickling her, but now Paige doesn't seem to like what he has done to her. Not only that, Paige is also angry when Leo turns on the music loudly while she is working, when in fact she used to like it. With her sister Gwen's wedding drawing near, Paige decides to stay with her parents until the wedding. Thus, Leo is even more afraid if she never comes back to his house again. A few days later, Paige and her mother goes back to the hospital to check on her. Once finished, her doctor advises her to fill the holes in her memory instead of fearing her past. That way, she can choose the memories she wants to live with, whether before getting to know Leo or after getting to know him. At Gwen's engagement, Leo meets Paige and says that the best times of his life were when he met and spent his days with Paige. Because now she cannot remember those days, Leo asks her out to all the places they'd been before. From the parking lot where they first met, the restaurant they frequented, and playing on the beach together. Despite Leo's best efforts to mend his relationship with her, their relationship is further strained when Paige's father tries to persuade Leo to divorce his daughter. Furthermore, Jeremy suddenly approaches and quips himself looking pathetic for not being recognized by anyone at Gwen's party. He also provokes him by talking about chances to bed his wife. Because of this, Leo immediately punches him, which makes Paige even more embarrassed by his actions. After successfully catching up to her, Leo frustratedly says that he cannot force her to stay with him anymore. He ultimately gives up the woman he loves so much. After that, Leo entertains himself by playing guitar in his music studio. After a while, his friend comes over to hear his thoughts, saying that he has given up on bringing back Paige's memories. No matter how big his sacrifice, he thinks that his wife will not love him like she used to. As a result, he decides to sign the divorce papers. A few days later, Paige meets her old friend, Diane, at a store. As she is unaware of Paige's amnesia, she apologizes for having had a relationship with her father, which suddenly reminds her why she had left her family. When she confronts her mother about this, her mother tells her that she decided to stay with her father for all the things he had done right, rather than leaving him for one wrong act. In addition, she does not want to lose her daughter for the second time. Soon, Paige also asks Leo why he never told her before. He then replies that he wanted to earn her love instead of driving her away from her parents. Later, when Jeremy asks Paige to walk with him, he confesses that he broke up with his current girlfriend, hoping to be back with her. Unluckily, she turns him down, stating that she needs to know what life would be like without him. In the end, Paige tells her father that she will be living alone in an apartment in the city. Her father, who feels guilty after Paige found out about his affair with Diane, apologizes to her. However, she assures him that she will always be his daughter, no matter what has happened before. As seasons change, Leo and Paige live their own lives. One day, Paige is deeply moved after she finds the menu card on which she had written her wedding vows. The movie ends happily with Paige unintentionally finding Leo at their regular Café Mnemonic. Then she goes with him to their backup Cuban restaurant, which she knows because she had been asking her friend about the relationship. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.